Okay, so if you're sitting there and you're like, you've started your business, you've maybe been in business for more than a second, and you're wondering, okay, this is great, I've got my business, but how do I grow my audience? How do I get more clients? What's worth investing my money and my time in to grow my audience? Then this episode is for you, because obviously you have to be able to sell your offer to the people that are already in your audience, but at some point you need to grow your audience if you're going to grow your business, right? And there's a lot that goes into growing your audience and growing your audience the right way and growing your audience with the people that you actually want in your audience instead of just random creepers or random trolls on the internet. So in this podcast, I'm going to walk you through, I think it's 7. I may come up with more bonus tips, ways to actually grow your audience online and elevate your brand. Welcome to Jumpstart Your Dreams. I am Faith Hannon, Jesus lover, business growth coach, content strategist, barrel racer, worship leader, wrangler of tiny humans, and champion of your God-given dreams. If you are finally ready to feel confident pursuing your God-given dreams, know Jesus more, and learn how to market and actually grow your business without losing your mind, then tell the dog to quit barking, grab a notepad and that third cup of coffee, and listen in for some shoot you straight, visionary, and practical tips to get you the breakthrough you've been looking for. Okay, so the very first thing that I want to talk about being a worthwhile investment to elevate your brand and grow your audience is kind of a pricey one. So don't tune me out as soon as I say this or as soon as you go Google prices for this. But the first thing I want to talk about is to having a great and comprehensive branding package. And I know that this feels like kind of a big and sometimes silly investment with like, oh, I just need things to look better. Like that's going to grow my audience. But when you think about how visual our world is and how much time people spend looking at images and graphics and, all kinds of photos and just how visual our world is. And it's becoming increasingly more and more visual, right? I think if you sit back and think about that, you're going to realize, oh yeah, having a great looking brand is actually going to be really beneficial for my business. And honest to goodness, having a great branding package is one of my very favorite things that I have for my business. I was able to work with a really, really cool branding designer. Her name is Emma Tedescucci, and she works over at Homeward Creative Co. Highly recommend her. I've sent multiple clients to her. She's fitting to have a baby pretty soon. So if you need some work done on your brand, get in her inbox stat. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait till she's off maternity leave. But I do think she's worth the wait if you are looking for a good branding designer. Anyway, that's a side note. I'll link her stuff in the show notes. But having a great branding package is so cool because I feel like it puts the power in my hands to make great looking material without having to think about it every single time. Like I already know that I have colors that go good together. I already know that I have colors and fonts and logos that speak to my ideal customer and their customer psychology and like all of those things. Like all of that stuff has been done ahead of time. So when I need to go make a new graphic for Pinterest, it's like, oh, pop that font in, pop that color in, use something else. I mean, like it's easy. So that when I get to the visual elements of my brand, it's already thought out, it's already planned out, the hard work has already been put in, and all I have to do is just like mix and match the pieces. Makes everything so much easier. And I've had a couple of clients that were friends that I did, one of them in particular was just an old friend that I designed her website for. I'm not a website designer, do not hire me for that. But I just did this for her. She's an old family friend, did it for her, and she didn't have a branding package, and it was so hard for me to do that for, because it just took so much thought and effort into doing that. And before I had Emma do my branding package for me, like my very, very, very first website, my very, very, very first blog. I mean, I just had to wing it and I had to come up with it myself, which pretty much everybody does starting out. That's okay. That is totally okay. But if you're looking for a way to elevate your brand and consequently grow your audience, having a really great and comprehensive branding package is, man, it just makes everything so much easier. And I really feel like it's a worthwhile investment. The second thing that I think is a very worthwhile investment to elevate your brand and grow your audience is professional photos, or at least a high quality preset that you can use to create a consistent look in your photos across all platforms. And again, these are all things that are not necessarily things that you have to start out with your business, right? But these are things that once you're in business, once you've kind of established yourself and you're looking to grow your audience, these are great investments. So I had my friend Molly Stevens with For the Western Wild take some branding images of me last summer. Very intentional with my colors and my everything with it. And I couldn't be happier. I literally could not be happier with them. And I mean, I paid her dollars for that. That's dollars that I could have spent elsewhere, but I mean, I would pay Molly that 10 times over to have the quality of professional photos that I have now that I can just pull from and use across any and all resources. And if you don't have, the resources for professional photos, you can't hire a professional photographer right now, and you're just like, Faith, that's not in the budget. Get some good, high quality presets that you can use on the images that you take. So Molly actually also has presets available, and I'm like over the moon for them because one, Molly's one of my besties, but two, I know the time and effort that she put into these, and they are so good. And because Molly doesn't live near me, now I have these presets and I can take them and I can use them on my photos that I take with my DSLR camera, my fancy camera. Okay, so you need either professional photos or at least a high quality preset, and that's going to elevate the look of your brand, which will in turn, combined with all these other tips I'm going to teach you, help to grow your audience. And please hear me when I say having professional photos or a great preset pack does not mean that literally every single thing you post has to be picture perfect, Instagram worthy. No. But for your main marketing, your website, your freebies, like any actual real promotional material, not just like, hey, this is my Instagram post for the day kind of stuff, you really do need professional photos or at least a high quality preset. And it's going to elevate your brand. And let's remember here, like elevating your brand helps you appear more professional, your skills more valuable, and will ultimately help grow your audience and your bottom dollar. Okay. Now, the next tip I want to bring you, number 3, is we're going to really get into the nuts and bolts, the nitty gritty. And this is to elevate your brand and grow your audience. You need a better website or a website revamp. So me, just like everybody else, when I first started off, I started off with Squarespace. I know a lot of people start off with Squarespace, or they start off with like just a real basic Betty WordPress site, or even a free site that's hosted by somebody else, or real bad idea to do everything on social media. If you get nothing out of this, please know you need a website. Okay. And when you're ready to elevate your brand and really get serious about growing your audience, I really recommend switching from Squarespace or something similar to Showit. Showit is my preferred platform. And I first started on Squarespace. Squarespace is super easy to use, super beginner website builder friendly. Showit is not as much. It's not terrible, but it's not as easy as Squarespace. And I started off with a free, not free. I paid money, but I started off with Squarespace, and it served its purpose for the time being. But when I was ready to really get serious about getting traffic to my website, Showit has come through gangster style. Because when you're first starting out, you're more concerned about just getting a website, right? Like just get the website up. And you probably, like me, don't have a ton of money to put into a fully custom website or to pay anybody for any help. And so naturally we gravitate towards if it's free, it's for me, or the easy to use stuff. And Squarespace does have some really great templates. Squarespace has a really great help section and a really, really thorough library of how-to videos. Showit is getting better, but let me tell you what converted me to Showit in a WordPress hosted site. So I have a client who I love dearly. Love them, but their website is not super aesthetically pleasing. The SEO is not gangbusters. They're a content client, not a website client, not a website copy client. But when I looked at their Google Analytics, they were getting, like at least 10 times the traffic that my beautifully designed, as SEO friendly as I knew then, Squarespace website was getting. They were getting almost 10 times the traffic on a WordPress hosted site. And so I had heard rumors that WordPress was way better for SEO, but that little fact right there is one of the things that sealed the deal for me. And I was like, yep, switching to Showit. So I made the switch from Squarespace to Showit. I think it was the fall of 2021. Took at least 3 times as long as I thought it was going to take to actually build up my website. And I bought a template. Like, Showit is not super beginner friendly, but it's learnable. And in my opinion, it is worth the little bit of extra money for the monthly subscription, and it's worth the extra time and or investing in somebody to build it for you, to have a Showit website where you can fully customize your design. There's literally no limitations on your design like there is with Squarespace or Wix or some of the other more blocky systems. And with Showit, you actually use a lot of SEO and HTML hacks to improve your SEO, which is an entire another episode deep dive thing that I can't go into today. But Showit is much better for SEO and much better for design. And I really am really thankful that I took that plunge and made the shift to elevate my brand there. Okay, number 4 tip to really elevate your brand and grow your audience is to go through your messaging with a fine-tooth comb. So when I say messaging, I mean literally every word that comes out of your brand. Your website copy, your social media content, your blog content, your podcast content, your YouTube content, like all of the things that you produce, the messaging that comes out of your mouth or your fingers. So go to it with a fine-tooth comb. And I want you to ask yourself these questions, okay? Number 1, I want you to ask yourself if you are actually communicating what you think you're communicating. Sometimes we get so familiar with our product and our services, or we're so far down the line from where our customer is, like in the learning journey, like we're steps ahead of them, right? That's why we're helping them and we're teaching them. But sometimes we get so familiar with what we're doing that we start to use language that our ideal customer doesn't even know what it means. Or we're communicating this big end result when really they're asking a more immediate question. So I want you to go through all of your messaging and ask yourself, am I actually communicating what I think I'm communicating? Okay, so a great example for this would be, let's say a photographer. I'm pretty familiar with the photography industry, so I use those examples a lot. But so a photographer, a lot of photographers in their messaging, they are selling they're selling the lighting, they're selling the features, they're selling their fancy camera, they're selling their years and years and years of experience with XYZ, they're selling their passion for photography, when really maybe if their ideal client is somebody who just needs family photos once a year for their Christmas card, really that person is wanting to know, can you help me not look dumb in pictures and keep my kids from screaming their head off long enough to get a smiley picture? And while the photographer might think that they're communicating, that they can answer that question, that they can solve that problem through their messaging, they're really not, because they're busy talking about lighting and settings and presets and all these things when their ideal client doesn't care about that. They want to know, can you help me with this thing? And sometimes, like I said, it's really easy to get detach from your client because you're so focused on your business and growing your business and developing your skills that you don't actually communicate what you think you're communicating. And if you're having a hard time with this, like, have somebody who is not super ingrained in your industry go through your messaging with you. Have them go through your stuff. I mean, pay them some dollars, take them to dinner, whatever, but have some, maybe get some outside perspective on that, okay? So the second question that I want you to ask yourself goes right in with the first question. I want you to ask yourself, is everything you're saying with your customer's number one question in mind? And if you are somebody that's been around for a while or you've read my blogs for a while, you know that your customer's number one question that they're asking is, can you help me solve my problem? And in a world that, our services and our businesses are becoming increasingly diversified, increasingly more and more niche, that the average person on the street doesn't necessarily know what you do. So it's not like you're a plumber and you can be like, yeah, I fix your plumbing. Like, everybody knows what a plumber is and they know the problem that they solve. But if you are in a less common industry that somebody doesn't automatically know what you do, you need to always keep your customer's number one question in mind, and that is, can you solve my problem? Okay, back to the family photographer example. Can you solve the problem that they have of needing to get pictures where they don't look dumb and their kids aren't screaming? Okay, great. Be clear. That's my number three question to ask yourself is, are you being clear? Go through your stuff and go through all your messaging and ask yourself, is this clear? If somebody just stumbled onto this one part of my website, this one section, this one page, is it clear? Is there any room for confusion? And if there's room for confusion, fix it, because clear wins over cute every day of the week that ends in Y. Yes, I love cute, I love funny, I love punny things. I mean, I'm a wordsmith, for crying out loud, but clear always wins over cute. So if there's any question between being clear or cute, choose clear every single time. Okay, the next question I want you to ask yourself is this: does it sound like you? And in a world that is, our brands are becoming increasingly more and more personal, our businesses are becoming increasingly more and more based around us, it's really important that if your business is based around you, it sounds like you. And even if your brand and your business is not necessarily based around you as a person, like, you have intrinsic values, you have hopefully a brand messaging guide or, a word choice guide or something of the sort that you can go through and say, okay, does this sound like us? Does this sound like who we are as a company? Or is this just picking up on, catchy phrases or things that everybody says? Ask yourself, is this something that I would actually say in real life? Like, if you listen to my stuff, if you read my stuff, I say, hey friends and hey pals. Guess what I say in real life? Hey friends, hey pals, hey y'all, hey bud. Like, I say those things in real life. So for me, that's authentic to my messaging. It might not be for you, and that's fine. But your messaging for your brand needs to sound like you. And as it does, as your messaging starts to sound increasingly more and more like you, people are going to connect with you more and like you more and grow your audience, okay? Okay, the last thing that I want you to ask yourself as you're going through your messaging with a fine-tooth comb is not really a question, but just something to do. And it is proofread. Now, I am the world's worst at this. I am not a great proofreader. I'm just not. It's not in my wheelhouse. I mean, I can do it, but I hate it, and I'm not very good at it. So I actually pay somebody to proofread for me because it's that important. Now, if you're not at the place that you can pay somebody to proofread for you, get Grammarly. So Grammarly has a free version that's actually pretty good, and then they have a paid version that's even better. I still wouldn't necessarily say that Grammarly, the paid version, is like worth the money for everybody, but because of the amount of writing that I do, it's worth it for me. And if you're like, Faith, I just need to pay a proofreader, let me know, shoot me an email. I will give you my proofreader's information because I'm sure she would like the extra work. Okay, the fifth tip that I want you to do, the fifth thing I want you to do as you are working to elevate your brand and grow your audience is to do an SEO back-end audit of your website. So before you just completely tune out because I just used acronyms that you don't know and it sounds way too confusing, hear me on this. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. it can get overwhelming, but there really are some tools that make it way less stressful and easier to understand. Easier, not super easy, but still easier. And my favorite tool that I use for myself and for clients is called Ubersuggest. It is a membership tool platform built by Neil Patel, who's pretty much the OG on SEO stuff and SEO training. And there is a free version where you get 3 searches a day. The paid version for me, the lifetime membership, was totally worth it. It was like $250 or $300, but I have access to it forever, and you get 3 projects at a time. So for somebody like me that I have client work going on, I can have my own stuff and then 2 clients that I'm working on at the same time. And then when I'm done with the client, I just delete that project and add a new project. Okay. But Ubersuggest, there's a really cool feature on there where you can do a site audit, and it will show you the things that are wrong on the back end of your site, the SEO mistakes. It'll show you places that you could create content, or long-term keywords that you should be creating content around. It is an excellent resource. And if you are wanting to have something in your back pocket that you can just use on a regular basis, I would really suggest investing in Ubersuggest. I'm so cutesy over here with my word choice, but Ubersuggest is a great tool. And doing the SEO backend audit, it's a thing. It can be a whole thing. Like, you can literally pay somebody a lot of dollars to do that. That's something that I've done for clients before, but you don't have to spend thousands and thousands of dollars in most cases to do a back-end audit of your business. You can really just get Ubersuggest and follow the suggestions, make the changes there, and that'll at least get you going, okay? And the 6th tip that I have for you to elevate your brand and grow your audience is to book a strategic marketing breakthrough call with me. Okay, I would love, if you're at the place that you are like, Faith, I've been in business for a bit, but I really need to start growing my audience, I would love to sit with you for an hour and put together a marketing growth plan for you that you can be confident in. We'll get the big picture vision, and then I'll help you map it out. And then we'll get you an SEO and keyword starter kit so that you know some of the SEO things that you need to go implement to really up-level your website and the keywords that you need to be going for and creating content for. And then get this, I will help you get 3 to 6 months of content planned. I know that sounds crazy, but honest to goodness, we can sit down and we can get all of that done in an hour, and you'll have a marketing plan in a box ready to go. You'll be confident in what you're doing to market your business and grow your audience. And you will see so much growth and so much confidence in what you're doing there. And I am not lying when I say that spaces are very limited, because I'm a work-at-home mom. I have a very limited number of hours that I can dedicate towards calls and coaching calls like this, strategic marketing breakthrough calls, technically. I have a very limited number of hours that I can dedicate towards this. So if you're even remotely thinking that this might be a good fit for you right now, shoot me an email, faith@faithhannon.com, and let's get you on the books for this, because you're going to be so happy that you did it. Okay, the 7th and final tip I have for you, thing I want you to do to really elevate your brand and grow your audience, is to get a solid repurposing strategy. This is one of my absolute favorite online marketing tricks, because, not everybody is seeing everything that you post. The last statistic that I heard was that only 6% of your social media audience is actually seeing what you post. So bless our little darling hearts, myself included, for spending hours and hours on end creating all of these stupid reels with, pointing and dancing and trying to find all the trending things, when in reality, like, a lot of times all of that work is just not going super far, which is, it is what it is, right? Social media is what it is. But when we get lost when we buy the lie and get lost in the fact that, I've already posted about this idea, I've already posted this thought, we are not only working way harder than we have to by not repurposing, but we're not serving our audience as well. Because if, let's say you have a following of 1,000 people, right? If only 6% of those people have seen this transformational message that you have, like, what about all the rest of them, right? What about all the rest of those people that opted in to follow you on social media that aren't seeing what you're creating because You're too prideful to repurpose. Okay? Now, I'm just going to tell you right now, you have full permission to repurpose content. And this is where the investment of time, putting in the work up front to creating one high value piece of long form content like a podcast or a blog, or better yet, a podcast repurposed into a blog. That's where this is just absolutely game changer. And it may feel like it's so much more work. Oh my gosh, Faith. But really, it's going to save you so much time, because you're going to get your brain in the box of this message, really hashing out this message, really fully formulating this idea into a podcast or a blog. And then you can go break it down and repurpose it. I can get 5, 10, 15, sometimes even 20 posts, at least five posts out of one piece of long form content, instead of having to sit my little tush down and come up with 5 separate Instagram ideas or 5 separate Facebook ideas, or having to come up with something on the fly and then hope it's valuable. No, it allows you to work so much smarter and not near as hard, and you're going to get so much more bang for your buck and your time, and you're going to grow your audience because you're posting high value content on the reg, and you're not just going with all the trends. And when you're posting high value content and not just whatever's trendy and all that, you're going to start attracting the right people. You're going to start building the right audience, not just the hater trolls who are looking at every single trending video going on. Okay, so please implement a solid repurposing strategy. I actually have a blog on this, and soon, hopefully fairly soon, we'll have some resources for you on repurposing really, really strategically. Okay, y'all, that's it. 7 tips to elevate your brand and grow your audience. We'll go over them again real quick. I really think these are all worthwhile investments. I think a great and comprehensive branding package is worth so much. I think professional photos or at least a high quality preset are going to pay dividends in just helping you look better online and look more professional and grow your audience. A better website or a website revamp. I really love recommending that people move from Squarespace, if that's where they're at, to Show It. Show It's my favorite platform. Number 4, go through your messaging with a fine-tooth comb. Number 5, do an SEO back-end audit of your website. And number 6, a strategic marketing breakthrough call with me, where you will get a marketing growth plan, an SEO and keyword starter kit, and 3 to 6 months of content planned out that you can be confident in that it's going to help actually grow your audience. And then number 7, you need a solid repurposing strategy. So if this helped you, if this encouraged you, if you're like, whoop, whoop, this is going to be gangbusters for my business, I'm going to ask that you go leave a written review on Apple iTunes, preferably 5 stars, of course, but then write something, because that does so much to get my podcast in front of more people. And if you have questions, or you're like, yes, Faith, I need this strategic marketing breakthrough call, shoot me an email, faith@faithhannon.com, and I would love to start chatting with you. And I really do pray that you have strategies from heaven, divine downloads from heaven on what you need to do to grow your audience, to reach your people, and help spread the message of Christ through how you live your life and how you interact with people in the business world. Until next time, have a great rest of your day, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you next week. Thank you so much for listening in today. It means the world that you tuned in. Hopefully this episode inspired you, challenged you, and left you feeling like you really can do the thing that God has called you to do, even if you need a nap first. If it did, can I ask you a couple favors? Would you please subscribe so you don't miss a thing? Share this episode with a friend and take 30 seconds and go leave a review on Apple Podcasts. Not only will it bless my socks off to know that this is helping you, but it will help spread this message to more Jesus-loving entrepreneurs. Connect with me over on Instagram @FaithHannon and find out about all the things, courses, coaching, and copywriting at my website, faithhannon.com. Until next time, God bless, and I'll talk to you soon.